John Hagemeister. I am the Executive Director of Bridges Virtual Academy. 3 days ago, I was just the administrator. We changed the title. Kind of nice. Important. But I do appreciate, I know that a lot of you traveled a long way to get here, so I appreciate that you're here. We have been doing this for, I believe this is our 5th ceremony, and it keeps getting bigger. And we went 2 years without a ceremony, and because I really didn't know how many people would want to come. And as soon as we said, hey, we could have a ceremony, we'd be able to drive all the way to Merrill, people would want to come. So I'm just glad that you're here. This year we have 20 of our 26 graduates here in attendance, so that's the biggest we've had yet, so that's wonderful. And we've got a couple people that are going to talk to you, share some insight with you. We've got some recognition that we're going to do, and then a big event will be getting the actual result. So we save that till the end, so they can stick around. So thank you for coming. As I said, we're here tonight to recognize these 20 graduates. You guys are the reason we're here, so we appreciate you meeting the requirements. Some of you just met them today. Well, but that's the point. We want to get you across the line, and you did, and I really appreciate your efforts. Some of you have had a year of college courses and work experiences and things like that, so I think the way that we offer instruction allows you to do a lot of different things, so I hope that that experience is meaningful for you, and I hope that you can take it and use it later on. Before we get too far, I would like to introduce some very important people here today. First, and can you stand please when I recognize you? First, I'd like all the graduates to stand. We're going to recognize them. We also have Mr. Mike Rath. He's the Governance Board President for Bridges Virtual Academy. Since before it was a school, when we were still a school program, Mike was participating in what we did here in the district. We also have Mr. Kevin Blake. He's the president of the Merrill School. Dr. John Sample, superintendent of schools for Merrill. Oh yeah, you didn't have snow days, that's right. So Dr. Sample likes to sing to let everybody know that it's a snow day. It's kind of special. He asked me if we wanted to start with the Star Spangled Banner, so I'm going to have him come up. Also, any Bridges teachers or staff members, if you could stand please. Special recognition to Mary Ball. Mary, please stand. I helped set up the chairs, and then after a while, I was like, Mary, do you want me to leave? She likes it. She's right. And then also, we have Mr. Rich Nyrider. He's going to be your featured speaker. Is a retired FBI agent of 30 years, and he's got some. He's going to tell you about the meaning of the initials FBI. I thought it was a couple of Bureau of Investigation. And then finally, because we really believe in the partnership that we have with families, we'd like the parents to stand. Thank you for partnering in this journey. Some of you have been with us for a couple of years. Some of you have been with us for a long time. But we appreciate the opportunity to be able to help your students explore their high school years. So, as I mentioned before, we have 26 graduates this year. This is our 7th graduating class, and we have 20 here today. This is the largest group that we've had, so it really bodes well for the future. I think by the time, 5 years from now, we'll probably have this whole place filled up, right? Notice we couldn't do it today. So, we didn't have a graduation ceremony the first 2 years, like I mentioned, because of the distance that people had to travel, but we really recognize that it's an important moment to share with families, and people like to travel to do that. So I'm glad that you guys are here today, and I'm glad it's beautiful weather outside. I think there was snow here like 2 weeks ago. Many of the 2019 graduates have been with BVA for a number of years, and so we've worked with them, some of them from elementary until now, so it's really kind of special to see it on the school. Let's see, we have 54% of our students have been with BVA for multiple years, and I think 54% have been with us all through their high school years, which is pretty remarkable too. Last year, I think we had 3 or 4 kids. So here's a few other things to consider with this class. A third of the students in this graduating class have taken college courses already and earned credit. About 50% have participated in either employability skills for credit or youth apprenticeship, which means they have jobs. So we've got kids that have already taken college credits and passed them, earned credits. And we've got kids that have been employed and have jobs. That's the whole purpose of school, right? So that makes us feel pretty good. I don't know if anybody noticed, there's a publication called The Bridge that is floating around here. We've got like 3 or 4 copies here. And it's a compilation of artwork, photography, writing, and different poetry, things like that that kids have put together. A lot of our seniors participated in that. There's a number of them that are published. So if you have the opportunity to look on these tables, there's one at a table, someone can pull that up. No, Mrs. Westfall has one there. So that's The Bridge. Take a look at that. It's really a nice collection of kind of what our school represents. There's a lot of different opportunities for kids that you don't typically have in a brick and mortar school, and that just kind of showcases them. We had a number of students here that participated in what we call BVA Unplugged, which is a new event where students come together and they don't use any technology, which is kind of weird because we're a virtual school. And they actually do it face to face. And that was, it was the first time we did that this year, and it was very successful. But again, these are students that, as they've been in BVA, they've started to develop these relationships with each other, even though they may not have ever seen the person, face to face before. But we've provided these opportunities to allow those kids to get together. So, just a lot of neat stuff. So, these are just highlights, and there's a lot of other things that these kids do and have done and are continuing to do. Part of the flexibility of the day in BVA allows the opportunity to do a lot of those things. So I feel like our students are really well prepared to move whatever the next thing is for them, whether it's school or the workforce or the military or something like that. Each of the experiences that they do have develop them as individuals, and we're really happy and grateful to be a part of that process as the years that they've been with us. Today, we're prepared to present them to you as fully qualified high school graduates. And you can recognize them as such from this day forward. And you guys will have a little diploma to say that you're fully qualified high school graduates. Personally, I want to thank each of you for all your efforts. I want to thank those that were kind of taking it easy this year because you did so well those first 3 years. I want to thank those of you that worked hard to finish up strong. I want to thank those of you that worked really, 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 really hard the last few days to finish up strong. I'm glad that we don't have to keep working with you too much longer. But you've demonstrated to us that you do have the general skills that you need to continue to learn in any avenue that you pursue, whether that's workforce, continued education, or in any other capacity. So I hope that you'll use your skills to the best of your abilities and pursue your next opportunity with optimism and confidence. And we at BVA thank you for the opportunity to partner with you and with the parents here in your preparation for the next step. And we wish you the best in your future. So thank you. Before we award the diplomas, as I mentioned, we do have some presentations. In just a moment, we're going to hear from 2 of our graduates. After the presentations from the students, we're going to hear from Rich, Mr. Richard Nyreiter, retired special agent from the FBI who will share with the initials FBI mean to him. And finally, we'll present the diplomas to the 20 graduates who are here this evening. So thank you again for participating with us tonight. And I'd like to start now with our student speakers. Our first student representative is Natalie Cantina. And is the third child from her family to graduate from BVA. I believe the Cantina family has been with us since we started, 2012. So they've been with us for a while. She's planning on attending Wisconsin Lutheran College, majoring in English, and she was recommended to us by a couple of her teachers to give a presentation today. And so when I reached out to her, I said, hey, thanks for being willing to do this. And she's like, what? They didn't tell her, they told me. So, but she took it well, and here she is. She's going to talk to us about, oh, I know, what it's like to be a BVA student. So, Natalie.
As you've heard, I'm Natalie, and before I get into my speech, I'd like to thank a few people. First, I'd like to thank God for His mercies that are new every morning, and I've needed that mercy for all 12 years of school, as well as before and after. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for letting me live rent-free with you for all these years. Thank you for also guiding me through each school year and encouraging me when I needed it the most. Next, I'd like to thank my brothers, Nick and Ben, for just being themselves. Thank you, Nick and Ben, for helping me to be myself. I'm thankful to have many of my extended family here tonight. Thank you, Grandpa and Grandma, Uncle Pat, Aunt Mary, Aunt Jan, Uncle Kurt, Grayson, and Keller for all coming and for always being such a great influence on me. I would like to thank all the BVA staff for their hard work and commitment and for helping each one of us students make it to graduation today. Graduating from Bridges Virtual Academy is a really special thing. It's not your typical school, and that means it produces some not so typical graduates. And that's a good thing. Even though learning virtually has its challenges, it is an awesome opportunity, and it has provided all of us with unique and important experiences. Some of those experiences are less vitally important than others, but they are definitely unique. I've compiled a list of these things that are distinct to Bridges graduates, and I've titled it, You Might Be a BVA Graduate If. So, you might be a BVA graduate if you've never seen your teachers or classmates in real life until now. Or if the first time you saw them was at a field trip or an ACT test or something similar. You might be a BVA graduate if the answer to what school do you go to is a lot more complicated than it should be. You might be a BVA graduate if you've had nightmares that you forgot to log onto your computer for class. That's happened to me. Or if you've actually forgotten to log on to class. I'm guilty. You might be a BVA graduate if you've experienced more panic when the teacher is late to class than when you are. You might be a Bridges graduate if pajama day is every day. That's my favorite part of being a Bridges student, to be honest. You might be a BVA student if people ask you why you aren't in school when you're out in public during normal school hours. You might be a BVA graduate if you've ever logged shoveling for PE hours. You might be a BVA graduate if your mom ever asked you if you were turning on your webcams in class so she could know when to avoid walking past your computer. Hashtag my mom. Or conversely, you might be a BVA graduate if your classmates and teachers have said hi to the random family members that walk past your webcam during a Zoom meeting. Or the other way around. You might be a BVA graduate if your most embarrassing moment was when you accidentally had your mic on in a Zoom meeting when your parent was yelling at you. Disclaimer, this didn't happen to me, it was someone else, but I felt embarrassed for their sake. You might be a BVA graduate if your dog never ate your homework, but your printing, copying, or scanning machine malfunctioned. And you might be a Bridges graduate if you've never been called to the principal's office or received attention in all your years at Bridges. Congrats, everyone. earlier that BVA have given us some really important experiences. Now I'll address some of those important things that we've learned. BVA has set us up for success in the age of technology. We've become proficient with all sorts of devices and programs. These can include, but aren't limited to, Google Classroom, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Presentation, Gmail, all things Google, Zoom virtual meetings, and the list goes on and on. And we've learned how to communicate effectively with people that are miles away. Webcams and microphones are a big help, but even when those aren't being used, we've mastered the chat box. Although I'm sure at times our teachers regret that we have learned that skill. We've learned how to craft coherent and proper emails and portability. We've also learned self-discipline. It's a lot harder to feel the pressure when your teacher is miles away. And we've all had the temptation to stay in bed, and we've had to learn how to drag our sleepy feet to the computer. So hard, I know. Some of us have had classes with no due dates, just everything due at the end of the semester. That means we've become master schedulers, I hope. Classes through Apex, WVS, and other programs don't usually have a teacher giving a lecture, so it means we've often learned on our own, just reaching out to teachers when we need help. And each of these experiences have contributed to forming self-discipline in each of us. We've also been able to take our education into our own hands to some extent. Some of us have chosen unique electives that might not be offered at a normal brick-and-mortar school, and others have used projects to learn a subject or have taken college classes for dual credit. We've also been able to schedule school as well as homework when we don't have normal classes to attend. So as most of us enter college and the workforce, these skills will come in handy. Any jobs or assignments involving technology will be more than feasible for us, and the communication skills that we've learned will help us work well with others and communicate past potential barriers. The self-discipline we've acquired in these past 4 years will be important for meeting deadlines in college and at work. And finally, we've been prepared to really own our success. BVA gives students quite a bit of autonomy, and that means we are poised to stride into our futures with confidence and creativity. Fellow graduates, you are well equipped and uniquely prepared to start your journey into adulthood. I wish you the best of adventures, and I pray that God will bless you each and every day. Thank you so much.
So that chat thing, they figure out stuff. So one time, the kids figured out, and I don't know if it was any seniors here, but it was kids in secondary level. They figured out that they could go into Zoom under the free version, and they could pull all the kids from their classes, their contact information, into a chat room, and they can have their own little chat world. But started doing this, they forgot that when they pulled all those addresses in there, they also pulled Mr. Higgemeister. So I found out some other teachers were also in there, and they're like, hey, what's going on? And then I was trying to think of how to enter the conversation. And I said something, and I said who I was, and it was like, whoa, really? Yeah, really. And then all of a sudden I could see all the little people just but they figure out ways around it, so I'm sure by the next day there's some other alternative. Our next speaker is Maria Halverson. She lives in Glenwood City on a farm with 5 siblings and many animals. She loves reading and writing and plans to take time to experience travel opportunities next year before going to college. She was also recommended by her teachers to share a few comments with you and with the graduates here, and she claims to be able to talk your ear off. It should be good.
Oh, that's a lot of people. Hi. If you know me, I'm just gonna. There we go. If you know me, then you know that I'm absolutely totally freaking out right now. If you don't know me, well, now you know that I'm absolutely totally freaking out right now. Public speaking has always kind of like made me nervous, and I don't understand why people always said like, oh, just imagine the audience in their underwear. I guarantee you, I do not want to imagine that. Even though I'm nervous, I knew that if I passed up this opportunity, I would regret it. So here I am, the 2019 class graduate, already doing things that hopefully I will regret in the future. Hashtag no regrets. Through this speech, I'm hoping to keep it heartfelt, uplifting, and of course, there will be class inside jokes. Oh, I lost my spot. Okay. Yeah, my main purpose is to inspire and to help those who feel a little scared or a little less confident feel more confident in themselves. My name is Merrill Halverson, and we finally made it. Okay. Whew, I'm more nervous than I thought I was going to be. Okay, here we go. We have come very far from, well, for my class, it was from Pride and Prejudice, hashtag for Mary, to really deep conversations about like romantic poetry. And from the crucible to wearing pants on our heads as hats. I keep losing my spot. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Here we go. From our funny, enjoyable moments that always make us laugh to those deep, sensible, serious moments that we share. And the long list of Mr. Doula sayings that Nathan and I kept over the years. Each and every one of you guys have so many beautiful talents that I have been able to witness through the years of knowing you. Through thick and thin, my English class has been there for me. And we've been there for each other. We have grown so fast, grown so close so fast that it's hard to believe that the years are over. It felt like just yesterday we were joking about who our IT guy was, and now we're talking about cheese. I wouldn't necessarily say that's an improvement, but hey, it's moments like these that made our high school so enjoyable. Most of us are wondering what's next, and I say anything and everything. Go out into the world and experience life, reach past the stars and grab the Milky Way. But most of all, never give up on yourself. Push yourself to go farther, make your mistakes, move on, make more mistakes, and continue. Fail 10 times, get up 11. Fail 50 times, get up 51. Fail 100 times, get up 101. The success is not measured by how much you fail, but by how much you're willing to get back up again. Put your heart on the line, because if you stand for nothing, then what do you fall for? Stand up for your heart, for your mind, for your body, and your soul. Don't just follow society, follow your dreams, because really through you guys, anything is possible. I know it's all a little scary, but really out of this entire speech, remember this one thing. Believe in yourself, because your belief about yourself has more impact on you than what anyone else thinks. R.S. Gray says she believed she could, so she did. In believing in yourself and acting upon what you believe in, you really can do it. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life to aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. Emily Dickinson. You don't have to save the world to make an impact on someone's life. I can tell you here and now, you have all made an impact on my life, and I am very grateful. So now here comes a long list of thank yous. I hope not to bore you. I want to thank all of my classmates for dealing with my outbursts and my long, deep conversations, for always encouraging me and making me feel safe to share my opinions and beliefs, for being my friends. I want to thank all of my teachers, Mr. Dula and Mrs. Giese. You have taught me so much on life, and I am so grateful. Thank you. To Mr. Hagemeister for creating this lovely school. I want to give a special thank you to Mrs. Pickler for not only being my teacher, but my friend, for helping me grow, for pushing me past my limits, for inspiring me, for being a teacher with so much passion, for helping me fall in love with literature over and over again. To you, I am so abundantly grateful, and I hope I find a teacher as wonderful as you to teach my children. Nathan, Schuster, and Gabriel, thank you so much for being a part of this silly Three Musketeer adventure that we created. I couldn't have asked for better friends to conquer high school with. To share all our deep thoughts, problems, book ideas, nerding out over absolutely everything. for laughing and teasing each other over silly things that were going on, but also for encouraging each other and being there when it counted. Thank you for those moments that we stayed up late to talk or wished class would never end. To all those times we laughed so hard, we joked about how on my tombstone it would read, cause of death, laughter. Words can't express how grateful and thankful I am to have had you in my life. To my family, for always being there when I needed you, thank you. My parents, my step-parents, my grandmas, my grandpas, and siblings. I want to give a special thank you to my eldest sister, Ariana. I look up to you more than I look up to anyone. Thank you for being my inspiration. To my mom, for making me who I am. You have shaped the very being of my soul, and I think I turned out pretty great. So, you have pushed me past my limits to always keep me lifted on my feet when I fail, to help me finish what I start, and to enjoy life to the fullest. And you taught me how to love with all my heart. Thank you. I love you all. I'm going to leave you with this poem by BVA Graduation. As humanity endeavors towards survival every day, and through time, do not let your survival instincts drive you into unkind acts. But with consideration, exert yourself to a life that is aware of its existence in an ecosystem in which you humans are endowed with characteristics to not only survive this climate, but to thrive, to always be an evergreen in this geography of the earth. Thank you to everyone for making my high school some of the best years of my life, for giving me so many fond memories that I will cherish forever. Congratulations, 2019 graduates. We made it. And look out 2020, because here we come.
Thank you very much. I always appreciate it when the students are willing to share a few words. That would sound so good. I'm glad that these were the best years of your life, but I'm telling you, just get better. So many opportunities and things to look forward to, so just keep looking forward. So, moving on to Rich, as you see I'm fumbling through my stuff. So I have the opportunity to introduce Rich Nyrider. And Rich was recommended to me as the speaker for the ceremony by one of our board members. And Rich does a lot of different speaking and training events in a variety of different venues and with different kinds of groups. And so he has a intro, and I didn't bring the intro. So he's here to visit this group. I don't have the proper intro. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the intro that I'm developing in my head as I'm saying it. First and foremost, Rich is a father, and he has 2 children that we spent about an hour today talking, and I think we talked mostly about his kids. So that's one thing I think all of us share here is love for our children and our connection with our family, and Rich definitely shares that with us. I know he has a daughter who is a special needs teacher, and then his son is a speech writer, and yeah, I'll get political here, she's on the wrong side, but it's still okay. We had that conversation the other day too. But one thing I'll tell you about Rich is he came up here, he didn't even ask, what's in it for me. He just went, when I called him and reached out to him, I'm actually reached out through the website. He called me back right away and he said, I'd love to do that. And I was like, great. What, can you make it short? He's like, yeah, that's no problem. So, it's not that he's not worth the time, it's just, I want to be here for a day learning about how to spot liars, right? Because that's kind of what he does. He trains people on how to do that stuff. Rich was in the FBI for 30 years, and he was a special agent, and I heard a little bit from him, but I did, a little look at his website on some things that he's experienced. He was one of the first investigators after 9/11 in at the Pentagon. He interviewed the survivors, and I'm sure he'll share a little bit about that. He's had some interesting experiences with undercover work in the Detroit area, and he just had some experiences to share with you, and hopefully some encouragement and some neat things for you guys in here as graduates. So please give Rich Nyrider a warm welcome.
So first of all, John's right. I have 2 children, but I also have a wife. We're only 42 and a half years. Okay. So I will make this somewhat short. Okay, I know that you graduates may have 1 or 2 parties to attend to this evening, so we won't keep you too long. But it is an honor for me to be here. When I was in high school, I would never guess that somebody someday would have asked me, hey, would you do the commencement speech at a high school graduation? So it's really nice. I was not always the best student. As a matter of fact, I probably graduated in the half of the class that made the top half possible. But here's an ironic thing. I graduated from Hartford High School in Hartford, Wisconsin, exactly 50 years ago. 50 years ago. 1969. Think how much we've accomplished in 50 years. Think how much you will accomplish in 50 years. In 1969, our folks bought us the first color TV that we ever had. We had black and white. We watched ABC, NBC, and CBS. That was it. Okay. Now, you're watching more movies, NFL Live, baseball, whatever it is, on more devices that I can mention. A month after I graduated, July 1969, Apollo 11 landed on the moon. Think of that. How many spaceships now have gone? Okay. But when that happened, their computer system, it was called the AGC, Apollo Guidance Computer. It was as big as a room. It got that lunar module to land on the moon, get off the moon, come back into the Earth's atmosphere, and then land in the North Pacific. Your phone that you have in your pocket or on your wrist has more technology in it than that AGC, Apollo Guidance Computer. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it really is. So anyhow, you'll accomplish a lot in the next 50 years. There's no doubt about it. Now, through the years, not everyone has been fortunate enough to go to high school, to graduate from high school. As a matter of fact, my dad had an 8th grade education. When he was ready to go to high school, it was 1931, right in the heart of the Depression. And he lived on a farm in little Hubertus, Wisconsin, Holy Hill. And he had to stay back home and help his folks on the farm and help his grandparents who had a farm a mile down the road. But my dad was one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Bob Nyrider. He worked as a plumber for over 50 years. All right. He had 2 great qualities, and these are qualities that we can try and put into our daily life. He never complained, and he never said a harsh word about another individual. Now that's really something, because he went through some adversity. His first wife, they were married for 4 years and she died. And they had a 3-year-old daughter. And we would go up to the cemetery every spring, actually right around this time, and plant flowers in little St. Hubert's parish, okay, at the cemetery. A few months after his wife died, his dad passed away. So it was a tough 6 months. But I never heard my dad complain about that, ever. As a matter of fact, for the few of us in this room that do complain every now and then, and I know that there's a few of us, I once heard it said that when you're complaining, 80% of the people you're complaining to aren't listening. They're not listening. And the other 20%, they're happy that you've got the problems. Keep the complaining to a minimum. So, as John told you, I was a special agent with the FBI. I was with the Bureau for 30 years. Quantico, Virginia, the FBI Academy, 4 months long. Very difficult place, okay? A lot of stress was put on you. But they taught us a lot of things. But the most important thing that I learned out there was those 3 letters just didn't stand for Federal Bureau of Investigation, but rather it stood for our motto: fidelity, bravery, and integrity. It's right on my lapel pin right here. Fidelity, bravery, and integrity. And we were told if we could live our lives by those 3 words, we would do just fine. Now let's face it, there's been a lot of noise out of Washington, D.C. in the last 2 years about the FBI. That's fine. Some of it is warranted, okay? But I will tell you that there are 13 special agents with the FBI working in the United States, from Los Angeles to New York to D.C., back to Milwaukee, up to Merrill, Wisconsin, that are keeping this country safe. And that's what it's all about. First word, fidelity, devotion to duty. So you just spent 4 years in high school. I'm sure you were working part-time. But were you really devoted to your classes? Okay. And I've heard a lot of teachers' names mentioned, and that's great. We've had some good teachers. One name I keep hearing is this Mrs. Pickler. Who is this? This English teacher. That's really great. It's easy to be devoted to her class. But what happens when you get to college or a trade school and you don't enjoy the teacher that you've got? You still have to be devoted to that class and be successful and get a grade in it. Okay? If I asked you if you, at any of the part-time jobs that you've had, would you work any of them 36 hours straight? Yeah, I'm going to guess the answer is no. Okay? I know when I was your age, I was helping my grandpa on the farm, so we were milking cows and baling hay all summer, and no, I wouldn't want to work 36 hours straight. But when I was in the Detroit division, 12 of us agents got a call that there was a kidnapping in Saginaw. All 12 of us went up there. We worked the case, made the arrest. We worked that case a day and a half straight. 36 hours in a day. Why would we do that? Because we were devoted to the cause, to the mission of the FBI. That's why we do it. Okay. Then we have bravery. Next word, courage. What does it mean? What does courage really mean? It means that if you're placed into a difficult situation, you will work through it without fear. That's what courage is. You can't tell me on September 11th that the first responders that were going to work in Manhattan, that they were talking and saying, well, you know what, if something happens today and I die, that's okay, it's part of my job. No, it's not. It's not part of your job to die. They did what they had to do. They were saving lives. Those folks had more courage in their little finger than I do in my entire body. God bless them and the people that worked at the Pentagon and Flight 93. It takes a lot of courage to do those type of jobs. And then there's integrity, trustworthiness, honesty. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, because none of us are. But you have to be trusted. People need to trust you. If you're going to tell your teacher that the assignment is going to get in by the end of the week, have it done at the end of the week. Because if you don't get it done, they're not going to trust you the next time you tell them. When you're out in the workforce someday, and the CEO tells all the salespeople that, you know what, if you hit this number, believe me, you're going to get a beautiful bonus at the end of the year. You hit the number, and at the end of the year, the CEO says, you know what, as a company, we didn't have a great year, so there'll be no bonuses. Are you ever going to trust them again? Of course not. Of course not. You know, I told Carrie and John, our children, as they were growing up, there's a right way and a wrong way of doing everything. And I truly believe that. I know that there's a few things where there's a gray area, but there's a right way and a wrong way of doing everything. Our daughter graduated from Madison. She moved to Chicago, and she wanted to go to DePaul and get her master's. And I was against it. And this is years ago. And I said, Carrie, it's $40,000 for this master's. It's going to take forever to pay it back. Do you really need this? I called her up the night before she's going to take her first class at DePaul, saying, Carrie, I don't think it's worth it. Or believe me, I think you should back out of it. And she's the sweetest child. And Carrie says to me on the phone, Dad, it's okay. It's all right. I'll get the master's. We'll figure out a way to pay it off. But I need this master's if I'm going to teach special needs and really do a good job. She got the master's. This is her 14th year of teaching 4th and 5th graders. And she loves her job. And she was right, but see, she followed her conscience. And I'll tell you what, every adult in this room will tell you, if you do that, you'll do fine. You'll do just fine. You know, when I hear that word integrity, it always reminds me of the story I once heard. With a little old lady, she goes to the butcher's shop late on a Saturday afternoon. And the butcher's cleaning up because he's just about ready to close. And she needs one whole chicken for the family dinner tomorrow. So she orders it, and the butcher says, absolutely. Now the butcher only has one left. That's it, one. He goes into the counter, takes that chicken, puts it on the scale, and it's a shade over 4 pounds. And she says, oh no, I need one much larger than that. Much larger. He goes, no problem. Puts it back into the counter, the ice, swishes the ice around. It's the only one he's got left. Grabs that chicken, puts it on the scale, but this time he keeps his thumb on it. Now it weighs a little over 6 pounds. Oh, and she smiles. She says, sir, that's absolutely perfect. I'll take both of them. Be a little leery when you lie. Okay, be a little leery. Now, I know in just a few minutes, you're going to get your diplomas. Good for you and congrats. But I've got one more homework assignment for you. One more. Do it tonight when your head hits the pillow. I want you to ask yourself, what is your best friend going to say about you when you're 25 years old? What are they going to say? All right? Make sure you do that, because are they going to say that, yeah, you graduated, but you decided you're not going to go on with any type of education or trade school. You just bummed around, you didn't do anything. You're 25 years old, and all you did was work a couple part-time jobs. You're just floundering. Or are they going to say, yes, you did graduate. The night you graduated, you're starting college soon, maybe a trade school, maybe you're working as an electrician or whatever it is, but when you're 25, you're doing fine. You've had a good education, you've got a good life, you're doing charitable work. That's as good as it gets. What are they going to say about you when you're 25 years old? So when our son graduated from high school, I wrote him a little note. I typed it out, deposited it on some wood. He still has it on a wall in his apartment in Washington, D.C. This is what I wrote to him. John, you're not here on earth to live up to my expectations or anyone else's. Set your own goals and go after them. You'll do fine no matter what you decide to achieve. I love you, buddy. Set your own goals. Like Carrie, you know, if you really think that you need more education as a master, get it. Do it. You'll figure out a way to pay for it, okay? It's important that it's for you. You do it and then help others. That's what it's all about. Now in closing, I'd like to just tell you one quote. One of my favorite quotes came from my favorite movie, Field of Dreams. Who's seen Field of Dreams? Okay, just a few of the graduates. So it's about baseball. And it's a great movie, okay? And one of the characters in the Field of Dreams, his name is Moonlight Graham. He's a doctor. He's He's an elderly gentleman. He's in a small town, but he's talking to somebody else, and he's talking about when he was a kid, when he was young. He was in the minor leagues, and he got brought up to the New York Giants, and he got to play one inning. But he wanted to bat just once. He wanted to face major league pitching, okay? But Moonlight Graham was put into the game, into right field, 3 outs. That was it, the end of the season. He was sent back down to the minors, and he decided not to go anymore. And he went to med school and became a doctor. So Doc Graham was talking, and he says, you know, I wanted to bat so hard. I wanted to play. I forgot that it really was a big deal, that I played one inning. And he says, we just don't recognize life's most significant moments while they're happening. And that is really true. We just don't recognize life's most significant moments while they're happening. He didn't realize how significant that was, to be able to play for the New York Giants. My wish for you is that you recognize it. As you go through life, take your time a little bit, embrace it, enjoy it, but recognize those significant moments. What's really interesting about that movie, there really was a Doc Graham. Most of us don't realize that. Doc Graham did play in 1905 one inning for the New York Giants. And then went to Chisholm, Minnesota, and became a doctor. Population 4,000, okay? Really neat story. So now, remember the significant moments. Tonight is one of them. And you know what? As you go on with your life, if you can live it with fidelity, bravery, and integrity, you'll do just fine. So thank you, congratulations, and God bless.
Thanks again, Rich. I really like that thing about being committed and working 36 hours a day, a week. Staff, you're here. Okay, so we're going to move on to some special student recognition before we do the diplomas. We'd like to take time to recognize some of our graduates who qualified for various awards. I want to point out that there's a lot of scholarships that we don't know about and a lot of other awards that we might not be aware of. So the ones that we're presenting now are just the ones that come directly from the school for the students. So as we call your name, if you could just come up, and then Mrs. Westfall will be giving you your certificate. All right, so we'll start with the Presidential Excellence Award. This is an academic excellence award for students with a grade point average higher than 3.5. When your name's called, if you could come up and then remain up here in front until everybody's been called. All right, so David Barrow. Leah Donnelly. Maria Halverson. Caleb Jorgensen. And Joshua Mayer. And this is for the Presidential Excellence Award, so congratulations to all these students. The next award is the Air Force Math and Science Award, and this is an award to recognize excellence in math and science. Two students for this are Natalie Contino.
Say it again.
Caleb Jorgensen. again, this one is for the Air Force Math and Science School. So congratulations. Okay, the next one is it's the Semper Fidelis Musical or Academic Excellence Award. And we have two students, Natalie Contino for music, and Merrill for academic. Thank you. There's one more, and it's the Academic Excellence Scholarship. And this is for academic excellence also. It's for a 4-year university, and it's a $2,500 per year award to a student that goes to a qualifying Wisconsin school. And that has been recognized for Joshua Mayer. So the academic excellence, and we also have a technical excellence scholarship, and both of them, they have a monetary amount that goes along with the student if they go to a qualifying school. We have another student that received the technical excellence scholarship, but he's not here in attendance today. The way that works is we provide the list of students who qualify. There's a selection process that we're not a part of, and then they send us back the names. We tell the student that is recognized for that award, and if they go to a qualifying school, then they get the award. If they go to a school that doesn't qualify, then it goes to the next person on the list. So we recognize the name that we're given, and it may end up that that award ends up going to a different person if that person turns down the award. So it's really kind of a neat opportunity for our students, and I know that we did not participate in this until 3 years ago, so it's been, I know, wonderful for the students that have been able to get this, so congratulations. The moment that we all came here for, I'd like to ask our dignified people to stand up. This is, again, Dr. Stanton, Superintendent of Schools. Mr. Erath is going to hand the diplomas to you, and as I call your name, if you could come up, there's the receiving line. These are the people that say you are a graduate. It's not me, it's them. So you should shake their hand. Some of you should really shake their hand. No names. Okay, so David Byro. Wisconsin. And I'm going to share where everybody's from so that you can get a feel for the way that we're spread out geographically. Mariah Bell. Mariah is from Merrill. Jaden Byers. Natalie Contino. Gabriel Dean. Naomi Deckers. Leah Donnelly, who's from Milwaukee. Caleb Sidlin. Maria Halverson. Emma Hutchinson. Caleb Jorgensen. Rachel Krakenfels. Joshua Maynard. Samantha Phelps. Ezekiel Rockfield. Brianna Russell. Hannah Sabrin. Nathaniel Schuster. Santana Strand. And Kelsey Thompson. Did I miss anyone? Just check. All right, so if you could all stand one more time, we're going to clap again. Congratulations. Okay, so in closing, I want to thank everybody for coming today. I want to thank you graduates for your hard work, and we just appreciate you and everything that you've done. And I just want to echo that every moment is important in your life, and wish you the best in everything that you do. We feel like you're prepared to go on and do anything, so I hope to hear that you have. I do run into graduates occasionally, and it's always kind of nice to hear what they're doing. So far, it's always been good. But I just wish you guys the best. I do want to point out one more thing. I was reading off of this Meet the Graduates. They're kind of, I think they're in the back table over there. If you haven't had a chance to look at these, this will give you a little bit of taste of some of those other things that I was talking about that our students are doing, and just kind of give you a little background on that. So take these home with you. Take an opportunity to take a look at the bridge and see some of those things that our students are showcasing in that magazine, and grab a cookie, some more coffee, hang out, take some pictures. But once again, thank you all for coming. Congratulations to our graduates. And that's not the sample for the song. That's all we have for tonight. Sorry. Thank you again. Drive safe on your way home.